During this lecture, we will get an idea regarding different aspects of population ecology. Let us start with the understanding of population and its characteristics. Population is generally a group of individuals of a particular species inhabiting the same area at a specific time. Members of a population rely on the same resources, are influenced by similar environmental factors, and have a high likelihood of interacting with and breeding with one another. Population ecology is the study of population in relation to the environment, including environmental influences on population density, distribution, age structure, and population size. Population ecology deals with the study of individuals of the same species where the processes like aggregation, interdependencies between individuals, etc., and the various factors governing such processes are emphasized. This area is considered as one of the important developments in the field of modern ecology. Population can be distinguished into two types. Monospecific population. It is the population of individuals of only one species. Polyspecific or mixed population. It is the population of individuals of more than one species, and it is generally referred to as a community. The population of a species generally arises as a result of reproduction, active transport of individuals or their passive transport by agencies such as wind, water, etc. All the three means of population growth are influenced by several factors of the environment as well as by the characteristics of the individuals of the species itself. Under favorable conditions, the group of individuals increases in number. However, environment is dynamic and keeps on changing from time to time. Therefore, environment acts as a natural check on population. Increase in the population brings about harmful as well as beneficial effects on the species. Harmful effects are mainly due to increased intraspecific competition for obtaining the nutrition and space. The beneficial effects include protection, influences on reproduction, and origin of division of labor. Now, let us consider the major areas involving study of population ecology. The study of population ecology can be divided into three main parts. First, population characteristics. In this type of study, various characteristics which are unique to the group as a whole and not to the individual in the group are described. Second, population dynamics. It involves the study of change in the population density through time and space. The various theories and models to explain population growth are studied in this area. Third, regulation of population. The factors governing population density are described in this part of the study. Population characteristics. In this lecture, we will focus mainly on the first aspect of population ecology. Let us start with the study of population characteristics in detail. Each population occupying a particular space has several special characteristics which are unique to that population. The main population characteristics include population size and density, dispersion, age structure, natality, mortality, and life tables. Now, we will start with the study of very important characteristic of any population, size and density. Let us understand the general meaning of both the terms first. Every population has a specific size and specific geographical boundaries. Total size is generally expressed as the number of individuals in a population. Population size increases and decreases over time. There are factors such as resource availability, competition, parasitism, predation, climate, etc. that usually operate in an ecosystem to keep populations within certain boundaries. More informative estimates of any population are given by density. Density of the population is expressed as the number of individuals of a species per unit area or volume of the environment. Larger organisms like trees are expressed as 500 trees per hectare, whereas smaller ones like phytoplankton can be represented per cubic meter of water. In terms of weight, density can be expressed as 100 pounds of fish per hectare of water surface. Density of the population can be divided into two main categories. Crude density. It is the density in which number or biomass of the individuals of the population is expressed per unit total space. Specific or ecological density. It is the density in which number or biomass of the individuals is expressed per unit of habitat space, that is available area or the volume that can actually be colonized by the population. The distinction between crude density and specific density becomes important due to the fact that organisms in nature generally grow into groups and are rarely found as uniformly distributed. For example, in plant species like Cassia, Tora, individuals are found more crowded in shady patches and few in other parts of the same area. Thus, the density calculated in total area would be crude density, whereas the density value for only shady area where the plants actually grow would be ecological density. Carl's experiment in 1964 based on fish density also helps in distinguishing between crude density and ecological density. The figure shows that a crude density of small fishes in the area as a whole goes down as the water level drops during the winter dry season, but the ecological density in the contracting pools of water increases as fishes are crowded into smaller and smaller water area. Thus, with changing time, water levels and total number of fish, the two densities are different. As varying from place to place, population density also varies with time. Population density may remain constant, it may fluctuate or it may steadily increase or decrease. Density results from dynamic interplay between processes that add individuals to a population and those that remove individuals from it. Additions to a population occur through birth, that is natality, and immigration. The factors that remove individuals from a population are death, that is mortality, and emigration. Immigration and emigration may represent biologically significant exchanges between populations. Therefore, more accurately, population density can be represented by R is equal to B minus D plus I minus E, where R represents population density, B indicates natality or birth rate, D indicates mortality or death rate, I indicates immigration rate, E indicates emigration rate. If value of R is plus, that is population is increasing. If value of R is minus, that means population is shrinking. If value of R is 0, that means the population is constant. Dispersion. Now, let us consider dispersion as the second important population characteristic. Let us see the general meaning and various types of dispersion observed in nature. The dispersion of a population is the pattern of spacing among individuals within the geographic boundaries. Within a population's geographic range, local densities may vary substantially because of two reasons. A. Some habitat patches are more suitable than others. B. Social interactions between population members may maintain patterns of spacing. Dispersion is considered as the natural geographic range of an organism or spatial pattern of individuals in a population relative to one another. Basically, there are three patterns of the dispersion of a population as shown in the figure. A shows uniform dispersion. In regular dispersion, the individuals are more or less spaced at equal distance from one another. This is rarely observed in nature, but is common in managed systems like cropland. Some plants secrete chemicals that inhibit the germination and growth of nearby competitor, which result in even distribution of individuals. Animals with territorial behavior show this kind of dispersion. B is the pattern of random dispersion. In this type of dispersion, the position of each individual is independent of the others and spacing is unpredictable. Random dispersion occurs in the absence of strong attraction or repulsion among individuals in a population, or when key physical or chemical factors are relatively homogeneously distributed. For example, plants may grow where wind-blown seeds land. This is also relatively rare in nature. C shows clump dispersion pattern. Most of the populations exhibit this type of dispersion to some extent. In this type, the individuals are aggregated into patches. Such aggregation may result from social aggregation or due to most favorable environment for the concerned population. For example, plants and fungi are often clumped where soil conditions favor germination and growth. Animals may clump in favorable microenvironments to facilitate mating interactions. Group living may increase the effectiveness of certain predators such as a wolf pack. The third characteristic of any population includes age structure. In this characteristic, we will learn about different types of age pyramids in brief. The proportion of individuals in each age group is called age structure of that population. Most of the populations have individuals of different ages. Typically, expanding populations have a large percentage of young individuals, while declining populations have a large percentage of old individuals, and stable populations have a relatively even distribution among age groups. Age distribution is very important because it influences both natality as well as mortality of the population. Birth rate, death rate, immigration and emigration determine age distribution of a population. The ratio of the various age groups in a population determines the current reproductive status of the population. From an ecological point of view, there are three major ecological age groups in any population: pre-reproductive age group, reproductive age group and post-reproductive age group. The relative duration of these age groups in proportion to the lifespan varies greatly with different organisms. In man, three ages are relatively equal in length, about a third of his life falling in each class. Many plants and animals have very long pre-reproductive period. Some animals, especially insects, have extremely long pre-reproductive period, a very short reproductive period and no post-reproductive period. Age pyramids. the model representing geometrically the proportion of different age groups in the population of any organism is called age pyramid. The three hypothetical pyramid types are shown in the figure. The figure illustrates the age structure in different types of population. A is the pyramid with broad base. It indicates a high percentage of young individuals. In rapidly growing young populations, birth rate is high and population growth may be exponential as in yeast, housefly, parameciums, etc. Under such conditions, each successive generation will be more numerous than the preceding one, and thus a pyramid with broad base would result. B represents bell-shaped polygon. It indicates a moderate proportion of young to old. As the rate of growth becomes slow and stable, that is, the pre-reproductive and reproductive age groups become more or less equal in size, post-reproductive group remaining as the smallest, there results a bell-shaped structure. C shows an urn-shaped pyramid. It indicates a low percentage of young individuals. If the birth rate is drastically reduced, the pre-reproductive group dwindles in proportion to the other two groups and it results in an urn-shaped pyramid, which indicates that population is dying off. Let us see natality or birth rate as the fourth criteria of population characteristics. It is simply a broader term covering the production of new individuals of any organism. These new individuals are born, hatched, germinated, arise by division, etc. In human population, natality rate is equivalent to the birth rate. Natality rate is the number of offsprings produced per female per unit time. There are distinguished two types of natality: maximum or absolute or physiological natality. It is the theoretical maximum production of new individuals under ideal conditions, that is, no ecological limiting factors, reproduction being limited only by physiological factors. It is constant for a given population. There is also called fecundity rate, ecological or realized natality. It is a natality which refers to population increase under an actual existing specific condition. It takes into account all the possible existing environmental conditions. This is also designated as fertility rate. Natality is expressed as delta NN by delta T, that is the absolute natality rate. Delta NN by N delta T represents the specific natality rate, where capital N indicates the initial number of organisms, small n indicates new individuals in the population, where T indicates time. Three population characteristics determine the rate at which female produce offspring: clutch size or number of young produced on each occasion, the time between one reproductive event and the next, and the age of first reproduction. Natality rate usually increases during period of maturity and then falls again as organism gets older. Fecundity, that is the rate at which females produce eggs, fertility, that is rate at which females produce zygotes, and sex ratio, that is proportion of male and female in a population, affects birth rate. Mortality. The other important population characteristic includes mortality. It refers to death of individuals in the population. Mortality can be expressed as the number of individuals dying in a given period, that is deaths per time, or as specific rate in terms of units of the total population. Mortality can be distinguished into two types: minimum mortality and ecological or realized mortality. Let us first see minimum mortality. It is also called specific or potential mortality. It represents the theoretical minimum loss under ideal or non-limiting conditions. It is a constant for a population. Thus, even under the best conditions, individuals would die of old age determined by their physiological longevity. Second, that is ecological or realized mortality. It is the actual loss of individuals under a given environmental condition. It is not a constant and varies with population and environmental conditions. After getting the knowledge of natality and mortality, let us understand the term vital index of population. A percentage of birth to death ratio is called vital index. Life tables. The last and very important population characteristic is the life tables. A life table is an age-specific summary of the survival pattern of a population. Information on natality and mortality in different ages and sexes can be combined in the form of life tables. From these, it is possible to estimate the growth or decline of a population. In this, each table possesses different columns for age of individuals, number surviving to each age group, the number dying in each age group, the proportion dying from the previous age category, fertility rate, and the number of young born by each age group. The best way to construct a life table is to follow the fate of a cohort, a group of individuals of the same age from birth throughout their lifetimes until all are dead. To build a life table, we need to determine the number of individuals that die in each age group and calculate the proportion of the cohort surviving from one age to the next. The information obtained from these figures provides the net reproductive rate of the population, that is, offspring left by each individual. Similarly, life tables also provide the information regarding mortality in a logarithmic form. These are then used to calculate the rate of population growth. Survivorship curve. A graphic way of representing the data in a life table is a survivorship curve. Survivorship curves represent age-specific patterns of death for a given population in a given environment. Each species has a characteristic curve. This is a plot of the numbers or proportion of individuals in a cohort of 1000 individuals still alive at each age. There are several patterns of survivorship exhibited by natural populations. In population ecology, survival rates are of much interest than the death rates. Survival rates or the pattern of mortality with age is best illustrated by survivorship curves. These curves represent the different nature of survivors in different types of population. The figure shows three general types of survivorship curves. First is highly convex curves. Curve A in the figure is characteristic of the species in which the population mortality rate is low until near the end of lifespan. Thus, such species tend to live throughout their lifespan with low mortality. Many species of large animals as deer, mountain sheep and man, etc. show such curves. Second is highly concave curve. Curve C in the figure is characteristic of such species where mortality rate is high during the young stages. Oysters, shellfish, oak trees, etc. show this type of survivorship. Third, diagonal curve. In age-specific survival is more nearly constant, the curve approaches a diagonal straight line as shown in the curve B2. It thus shows a constant proportion of organisms dying per unit time. Probably no population in the real world has a constant age-specific survival rate throughout the whole lifespan. Thus, a slightly concave or sigmoid curve B3 as shown in the figure is characteristic of many birds, mice and rabbits. In this, the mortality rate is high in the young but lower and more nearly constant in the adult. Still, in some insects such as butterflies, there is expected generally a stair-shaped type of curve as shown in curve B1. According to Sarukhan and Harper, the survivorship curves in plants may also be found. Thus, we can say that life tables in terms of survivorship curves can be considered as major characteristics in understanding population ecology.
Now let us quickly summarize different aspects of population ecology that we have covered during today's lecture. In this lecture, we have discussed special characteristics of population in detail. We have studied population size and density as one of the important criteria of population characteristics. We have also learnt dispersion and different types of age pyramids to understand population growth. During this lecture, we have also got the information regarding other parameters of population like natality and mortality. Last but not the least, we have studied survivorship curves as the best tool for representing the life table data in a